It was supposed to be a statement game. A moment to remind the league that the Dallas Cowboys were still America's team. But when the clock hit 0, the scoreboard told a different story. The Arizona Cardinals 27, the Dallas Cowboys 17. A loss that shouldn't have happened. A game that exposed everything hidden beneath the surface. And a night that became a reflection of deeper problems, problems no one in Dallas can ignore anymore. Because this wasn't just another defeat. This was a warning. A wake-up call to a franchise that has spent years chasing greatness, yet keeps tripping over its own expectations. Every year, the Dallas Cowboys enter the season with noise. The lights, the jerseys, the headlines. The weight of being more than just competitive, of being dominant. Dak Prescott once again under center. A team filled with talent, experience, and belief. An offense averaging over 30 points a game. A defense built to intimidate. On paper, they looked like contenders. But in Dallas, expectations can be heavy. When you carry the label, America's team, every stumble feels like an earthquake. Heading into the matchup with the struggling Arizona Cardinals, the Cowboys were heavy favorites. The Cardinals were coming off 5 straight losses, missing their starting quarterback Kyler Murray, and relying on veteran backup Jacoby Brissett. It was supposed to be a formality. A tune-up. A chance to bounce back and dominate. But the NFL has a funny way of punishing arrogance. And that Sunday in the desert, the Cowboys learned that no game is automatic. From the opening drive, something felt off. The Cowboys moved the ball, but the rhythm wasn't there. Pass protection broke down early. Receivers struggled to get separation. And when opportunities came, execution vanished. On the other side, Jacoby Brissett looked poised, confident, even surgical. He attacked the Cowboys' secondary with precision. Quick throws, smart reads, minimal mistakes. The Cowboys' defense, usually one of the most disciplined in football, looked confused and unprepared. By halftime, Dallas trailed. Not by a blowout, but by something worse, a lack of energy. The Cardinals were controlling the tempo. The Cowboys were reacting, not dictating. When Dak Prescott connected with Jake Ferguson for a short touchdown in the third quarter, it looked like the start of a comeback. But that spark faded quickly. Ferguson, who had been one of the team's emerging weapons, struggled through drops and miscommunication. The offense fell flat again. Defensively, things didn't get better. Darren Bland and the secondary couldn't contain Arizona's receivers. Coverage broke down, tackling became sloppy, and the defense looked disconnected. When the final whistle blew, the Cowboys had been beaten in every phase of the game. The scoreline, 27-17, didn't just show defeat. It revealed dysfunction. Inside the locker room, the atmosphere was silent. Frustration hung in the air. Dak Prescott faced the media with a calm but heavy tone. "Yeah, I'm surprised," he said. "And I'm frustrated. What we're capable of doing, we didn't really ever get going." His voice carried the weight of leadership but also the reality of disappointment. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer echoed the sentiment. "We've got a lot of work to do," he said. "I challenged the guys. We need solutions." And then came the words of Jerry Jones. Never one to hold back, Jones hinted at possible changes. "Yes," he said, "there's one deal I can do. I'm leaning toward doing it." The statement spread like wildfire across the sports world. Was he planning a trade? Was a shakeup coming? For a fan base desperate for answers, it sounded like a spark of hope. But as the trade deadline passed, no blockbuster moves arrived. No savior was walking through the door. The Cowboys were left with what they had: talent, potential, and a growing list of problems. To understand what went wrong in Arizona, you have to look beyond the score. The loss came down to 3 major failures. First, the secondary. The Cardinals picked them apart. Poor communication, blown coverage, and missed assignments turned routine plays into big gains. Second, the offensive line. Terrence Steele, returning from injury, struggled mightily. He was beaten repeatedly off the edge, and Prescott was sacked 5 times. 5 sacks. In the NFL, that's a death sentence for offensive rhythm. And third, red zone execution. The Cowboys moved the ball, but when it mattered most, they came up empty. Field goals instead of touchdowns. Drives ending in turnovers. You can't win games like that. Put those mistakes together, and the picture becomes clear. The Cowboys weren't beaten by talent, they were beaten by themselves. Zoom out, and the problem runs deeper than a single game. Dallas now finds itself trailing in the division, chasing the Eagles and running out of time. But this isn't just about numbers. It's about identity. Who are the Dallas Cowboys, really? Are they a powerhouse built to dominate, or a team built on hype that collapses under pressure? Every year, the same pattern plays out. The hype, the confidence, the hot start, and then the cracks appear. It's not a lack of ability. It's a lack of consistency. The Cowboys are one of the most talented teams in the league, but football is more than talent. It's about execution, about mental toughness, about responding when things go wrong. And that's where this team keeps falling short. When the players fail, the focus turns to coaching. Brian Schottenheimer's offense has moments of brilliance but lacks identity. The play calling feels conservative, too many screens, too many short routes, not enough aggression. On defense, Matt Eberflus' schemes rely heavily on the pass rush getting home. When it doesn't, the secondary collapses under pressure. In today's NFL, adaptability is everything. The Cowboys look rigid. Predictable. And in a league built on adjustments, predictability is deadly. Then there's the pressure on Dak Prescott. Every quarterback in Dallas faces scrutiny, but for Dak, it's amplified tenfold. When the Cowboys win, the praise is spread around. When they lose, it lands squarely on his shoulders. Fair or not, that's the burden of being the face of the franchise. After the loss, the critics returned in full force. Is Prescott still the guy? Can he carry this team when it matters most? These questions have followed him for years, and nights like Arizona only make them louder. But it's not just Dak. Jake Ferguson struggled to find his confidence. Terrence Steele is still searching for his pre-injury form. Darren Bland, one of the highest-paid corners, needs to prove he can lead this secondary. The pressure isn't just external. It's internal. Every player on this roster knows what's at stake. The road ahead doesn't get easier. After the bye week, Dallas faces a brutal stretch: Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, and Chargers. 5 playoff-caliber teams, 5 opportunities to prove that this loss was an anomaly, not a trend. Every game from here on out is a test of resilience. Do the Cowboys have the mental toughness to respond? Or will this season become another chapter in the long story of unmet expectations? Because the truth is, this is bigger than one bad night. This is about legacy. When Jerry Jones looks at this team, he doesn't just see players, he sees history. Decades of glory. Super Bowls. Icons. A brand that represents more than football. And that's why every loss cuts so deep. It's not just about standings. It's about pride. Every stumble feels like a dent in that star on the helmet. Every defeat feels like another reminder that the glory days are slipping away. Yet, the Cowboys still have everything they need to turn it around. They have the quarterback. They have the weapons. They have an owner willing to do whatever it takes. What they need now is accountability, discipline, and leadership. Championships aren't won on talent alone. They're won on hunger. On grit. On the willingness to look in the mirror and fix what's broken. That's what separates the good teams from the great ones. For Cowboys fans, this loss was more than painful, it was familiar. The same cycle, the same heartbreak, the same disbelief. But their frustration isn't negativity. It's passion. It's belief. Because Cowboys fans remember what greatness feels like, and they're tired of waiting to feel it again. They expect excellence because they know this team is capable of it. And deep down, that belief might be the team's greatest weapon, if they can find a way to live up to it. So where do the Cowboys go from here? It starts with accountability. No excuses, no cliches about wake-up calls. Fix the fundamentals. Protect your quarterback. Communicate on defense. Execute in the red zone. Then comes urgency. The window for this roster isn't infinite. The time to win is now. The Cowboys don't need to reinvent themselves. They just need to remember who they are supposed to be, a disciplined, confident team that sets the tone, not one that chases it. If they can do that, this season can still be saved. If they can't, then the story stays the same. There's always a moment after a loss when silence fills the locker room. Helmets off. Heads down. Cleats clattering against the floor. It's in that silence where truth lives. The Cardinals game wasn't a fluke. It was a symptom. A reflection of the issues this team keeps running from. But sometimes, rock bottom becomes a foundation. The Cowboys still have time. The talent is there. The opportunity is there. The question is whether the will is there too. Because history tells us one thing, great teams find a way. The rest just find excuses. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are standing at a crossroads. Which path they choose will define not just this season,